to receive the worshipful Mayor of Oldham Borough, Councillor Elaine Garrett.
Good evening. I invite my chaplain, the Reverend Canon Jean Hurlstone, to say prayers.
I want to introduce this evening's prayer with some words about Kevin by a reporter, Imogen Barber, earlier this year. "It's all about friendship," she quotes Kevin as saying, when he finished 7 ultra marathons in 7 days to raise money for motor neurone disease charities. She quotes Kevin as saying, "If we can all try and be a bit better as a friend from time to time, I think we would have a better place to live in." I agree wholeheartedly with that sentiment, Kevin. Being a good friend is about caring, about being asked to care, it's about caring even when we're not even asked to care. And as it says in scriptures, it is about giving without counting the cost. Tonight's honour is given to acknowledge that Kevin is indeed that real friend who's willing to go the extra mile, or 2, or 100. Taking Kevin as our example and the words of Saint Ignatius, let us pray. Lord, teach us to be generous, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heal the wounds, to toil and not to seek for rest, to labour and not to seek reward. O God, we give thanks for Kevin. Bless all those whom he has served, and all those whose lives will be touched by him in the future, both on and off the pitch. Amen.
Please be seated. Deputy Lord Lieutenant, Honorary Freeman and Honorary Alderman of the Borough, Deputy Lieutenants, members and officers of the Council, honoured and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to welcome you all today to admit Mr. Kevin Sinfield, OBE, to be an Honorary Freeman of the Metropolitan Borough of Oldham. I now call upon the Chief Executive to read the resolution passed at the meeting of the Council on the 24th of March 2021.
Madam Mayor, since the resolution was passed, Kevin Sinfield has been awarded an OBE, and once again, Council offers its full congratulations. The resolution therefore read at the time as follows: that in pursuance of the provisions of Section 249 of the Local Government Act 1972, the Council of Metropolitan Borough of Oldham do hereby admit Kevin Sinfield, MBE, to be an Honorary Freeman of the Metropolitan Borough of Oldham, as a token of the high esteem in which he is held by the townspeople of the Metropolitan Borough of Oldham, and in recognition of his eminent services and inspiring achievements to the borough and its people.
Thank you. On behalf of the whole of the Council, I call upon Councillors Chadderton, Councillor Sykes and Councillor Lancaster to speak upon Kevin Sinfield, OBE, on the previously approved resolution at the meeting of the Council on the 24th of March 2021. Councillor Chadderton.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, and I'm delighted to be here tonight as part of this ceremony that presents Kevin with this much-deserved award. After starting his career at Waterhead ARLFC and signing his first professional contract with Super League giants Leeds Rhinos at the age of 16, Kevin went on to become a fan favourite and a club legend, captaining Leeds Rhinos and becoming their highest point scorer, while also winning the Super League 7 times, the Challenge Cup twice, and the World Cup Challenge 3 times. But despite all this success on the pitch and becoming one of the greatest players in the history of rugby league, which you could argue is reason enough for us to bestow the greatest honour we can on one of our town's greatest athletes, tonight we're actually here to honour Kevin because of his unbelievable fundraising campaigns over the past few years. It's not an underestimation to say that Kevin captured the hearts and minds of millions of people across Britain with his fundraising efforts, because of the dedication he's shown to his friend and former teammate Rod Burrows after Rob was diagnosed with motor neurone disease in December 2019. In 2020, Kevin ran 7 marathons in 7 days and raised over £2.5 million for the MND Association. And in 2021, he took the total he raised for the MND Association to over £5 million by running approximately 101 miles in 24 hours. And then late last year, Kevin decided that 7 marathons in 7 days isn't enough and he needed to push himself even further, so he ran 7 ultramarathons in 7 days. His latest feat saw him concluding at Old Trafford during the final of the Rugby League World Cup and ventured through his hometown along the way. And once again, Kevin smashed through his original fundraising target of £777,777 and raised another £2.5 million for the MND Association. I was speaking to the Guardian newspaper last year. Kevin auditioned for possibly the most modest man in Britain by describing his challenge as a sponsored run before adding, in my mind, this is a run with a mate, about a mate, with some other mates. Now, in the midst of running 275 miles in 7 days, Kevin showed everybody in this chamber and beyond how seriously he takes his friendship with Rob Burrows. Madam Mayor, we all wish we had friends like Kevin Sinfield, and we should all aspire to be a friend like Kevin Sinfield. Kevin is a remarkable athlete, a truly inspiring individual, an extraordinary Oldhamer, and there's no more fitting way to honour his achievement than with the highest award our borough can bestow upon him. Madam Mayor, we should all aspire to be more like Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sykes to speak, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Deputy Lord Lieutenants, Honorary Freeman, Honorary Alderman of the Borough, Deputy Lieutenants, members and officers of the Council, honoured and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies if I've forgotten anybody there. Well, following an analogy from last week's meeting, some things are so good it's very important to say them twice. And you're used to the person who speaks before you, but it's the first time I've ever had prayers steal half of my speech I wanted to make either, but there we are. This is a real honour for me, Madam Mayor. Kevin Sinfield has Oldham in his DNA, and it's only right and proper we make him a free man of our borough. A former player with Waterhead Amateur Rugby League Club, the boy has done well, to say the least. And I say that as a St Anne's fan myself. Fly hard for Leeds Rhinos and captain, proper big boy rugby, and a credit to his town. He's also played on an international stage with both England and Great Britain. Kevin is a 7-time Super League champion, 2-time Challenge Cup and triple World Cup Challenge winner. Try saying that after a couple of shandies. To this day, Kevin still holds the record for the highest point score for the Rhinos at 3,697 and the Super League record of 3,443. Following his playing career, of which he is widely regarded as one of the greatest kickers in rugby league history, Kevin was appointed rugby director at the Rugby Football League in 2016. He helped lead England to the 2017 Rugby League World Cup final, and before returning to Rhinos the following year, as their first ever director of rugby. Kevin left for a second time for rugby union when he became the defence coach of Leicester Tigers, and he is currently the defence coach for the English national rugby team, and clearly has his work cut out in that role at the moment. But some of Kevin's biggest achievements are to massively raise the profile of motor neuron disease, or MND as it's called. His former Leeds teammate Rob Burrows was diagnosed with MND, and Kevin, his former captain and close friend, set about raising money and the awareness of MND. 7 marathons in 7 days in 2020. Kevin raised more than 2.7 million for his friend Rob and the MND Association. Even more staggering was 7 ultramarathons in 7 days, smashing his fundraising target, like the leaders previously said, of £777,007. And the significance being is that 7 was Rob's former number when he played for Rhinos. So his sporting achievements alone merit this award. Never mind all he's done for MND. So, as the prayers have said, and as the lever has said, it's very simply we could all do with being a bit more Kevin. And I'm honoured to second the proposal to make Kevin Sinfield OBE a freedom of the Metropolitan Borough of Oldham, and so second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Lancaster to speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In deputising for Councillor Sheldon on behalf of the Conservative Group, I am privileged to speak in support of Mr Kevin Sinfield, OBE, being awarded the title of Honorary Freeman of the Metropolitan Borough of Oldham. On other occasions, Madam Mayor, being the third speaker to make a tribute could prove challenging, and as Councillor Sykes alluded to, much of the material that I intended to use has already been spoken to. But thankfully, such as the extraordinary life lived by Kevin Sinfield, there is plenty which can be said, and few people, if any, would tire in hearing about his extensive efforts and awesome achievements. For almost 2 decades, Kevin Sinfield played at the highest level of rugby league, representing England and Great Britain, and under his captaincy, the Leeds Rhinos enjoyed a golden era of success, regularly competing in national and international finals, and to state again, winning 7 Super League titles, 3 World Club Challenges and 2 Challenge Cups. Though he is always keen to credit the contributions of his clubmates, Kevin Sinfield undoubtedly played his personal part in those many years of Rhinos' dominance, and will forever remain a Leeds legend. He received a civic honour from the city earlier this year, and I believe joined Sir Winston Churchill in holding formal freedoms of both Leeds and of Oldham. He holds records as the highest point scorer in Super League history, the 3rd highest point scorer in British Rugby League history, and Leeds is a record point scorer, collecting many individual accolades throughout his illustrious career. As a superb sportsman alone, Kevin Sinfield would more than merit being an honorary freeman of our borough. However, we all know that there is so much more to the man than simply his sporting prowess in that famous number 13 jersey. His heroic fundraising for the Motor Neurone Disease Association and his brotherly bond with Rob Burrow has been a story of genuine national significance and has captured hearts all across our United Kingdom. Around 2 years ago now, when Kevin Sinfield was first announced to be receiving this honour, he had recently ran 7 marathons in 7 days, and it was hard to imagine then that he could give even more to the cause of caring for those with and finding a cure for MND. And yet since then he has only raised the bar higher still with further epic feats, raising millions of pounds more for that marvellous charity. Madam Mayor, I was lucky enough to be amongst the 60-odd thousand people inside Old Trafford for the Rugby League World Cup final last November, and that moment when Kevin Sinfield and his team entered onto the pitch, after having covered 300 miles in the week beforehand, was truly magical. I expect that every single spectator, some of whom gathered here this evening, will remember that moment for an awfully long time. Alongside his fundraising for the Motor Neurone Disease Association, we should also note as well Kevin Sinfield's support for other charitable initiatives. He has in the past helpfully invested his time into the Ricky Casey Trust, Prostrate Cancer UK, the Leeds Rhinos Foundation Trust, and no doubt a great deal many others. Additionally, he has also provided inspiration for other good-natured local people to progress worthy causes which they are passionate about in their own lives, and that leadership is the true mark of the man. Despite now deservedly receiving wide recognition, Kevin Sinfield has remained humble. He lives only a few miles from here and has lent his professional expertise to the Stars of Tomorrow at Saddleworth Rangers. He has always spoken warmly of his sporting start at Waterhead, his support of Oldham Athletic and his earlier education at both Saddleworth School, where he was once head boy, and Oldham Sixth Form College. He is proud of his roots in our borough, and Oldham natives are proud to call him one of our own too. Mr Sinfield, my group colleagues and I and the communities we represent would like to record our gratitude for all that you have done thus far and for being a source of civic pride locally. We wish you and your family well, particularly your son Jack, for a successful season ahead, and we offer you our encouragement for all your future endeavours, including in your coaching career. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I call upon Honorary Freeman, Mr Kevin Sinfield, OBE, to sign the Honorary Freeman roll. I invite Honorary Freeman, Mr Kevin Sinfield, OBE, to reply.
Sorry, it seems like there's a bit of interference. Lady Mayor, councillors, distinguished guests, thank you. So this is what it feels like to be up at court, is it? I didn't really know what to expect this evening. Thank you for your really kind words. It's a huge honour. I've lived in the town my whole life. Was educated here. My boys have grown up here too, so to receive such an honour is fantastic for the family. We love living in Oldham. I'm proud at every opportunity to bang the drum about the great town we live in. It has been mentioned that I'm an Oldham Athletic fan, I am, and I'm also an Oldham rugby fan, where I was a ball boy for 3 years back at the old Watershed-ins. I'm incredibly proud of the town. Vast majority of my friends are from the town. My family all still live here, so to be given this honour today is right up there with some of the achievements I've been able to work through with the teams I've been a part of. And the reason I mentioned teams today is I found myself throughout the last 20 years received quite a number of individual awards, but I played a team sport, and over the last three years, through the challenges we've done for Rodborough and the M&D community, have all been around team as well. There's been a vast number of people who've supported and been right by my side, and they must share in that, and they're a big part of this. A lot of them are Oldhamers as well. I'll never forget the day during the last challenge when we ran over the top of Saddleworth and past Grange Bar and through Oldham to see the people that came out to support us. Remarkably, it was November and the sun was shining. There wasn't a drop of rain, which did disappoint me to some to some extent. But it was certainly a memory I'll never forget, and right up there with lifting some of the trophies we've been able to do throughout my playing career. So I thank all of you. Like I said, I'm incredibly proud. To have my wife and my mum and dad here too is really special. So thank you very much.
Deputy Lord Lieutenant, Honorary Freeman and Honorary Alderman of the Borough, Deputy Lieutenants, members and officers of the Council, honoured and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance and congratulations once again to Honorary Freeman Kevin Sinfield, OBE, on his honour. Thank you. The meeting is now closed.